we're touching another critical aspect of our economic policy, which is making Lagos a 21st century. There's no way you can have a 21st century economy, you can have a mega city, you can have a greater Lagos if you are not providing one of the major basic needs, which is shelter. To build a 21st century economy is to build a resilient economy, is to build an economy that people can work, they can live, and they can play. Here today, I'm excited because this is another promise kept. We said it 2.5 years ago that we will leave nothing to chance. We will ensure that everything we found a hand doing, we will do it well. I'm truly excited that this is the biggest Lagos Homes housing project that we're handing over. This project, when we came in, it was a den of all criminality. It was an abandoned site, as it were. At various stages, they were turned to miscreants, criminal activity, a massive, massive site that was a very dangerous site. And we came in here, we've cleaned up everything, and I'm excited that today we can hand over to our citizens 744 one-bed, two-bed, and three-bed housing estates. Not only am I excited, this is one location that people will live in peace, and people will also have full recreational facility because the ambience speaks for itself. Is well laid out, and they've rolled out all of the other amenities that have been provided in this community. You can see around that the landscape has been well finished. You can see that the floors and the parking has been well manicured and be well painted. But it's important for us to know that everything that is required for basic shelter, for basic home need, is all provided at these housing estates. And I think, once again, I can give a big round of applause to all of our contractors and all of our stakeholders that have done this for us. I think it's also important for us to put it in context that in about 2.5 years, we've handed over 14 housing estates. And so you can see that we're dotting our housing scheme almost in all nooks and crannies of our city. But it's not just housing. We're creating communities in all of these places. We're ensuring that what we're about is a live, work, and play, so that the entire ecosystem of developing the future leaders is not lost on us. We also take cognizance of the fact that home ownership is one of the things that gives people joy in their heart. And that's why this scheme as well will be handed over to our Lagos Home scheme, which usually ensure that you don't need to break the bank to be part of the Sangotedo housing scheme. You don't need to go borrow. Once you approach the Lagos Homes and want to have a job, they can work out the modalities for you, and you can have a 10-year repayment on our rent-to-home scheme, which is ongoing, which we are happy about. But more importantly, I think it's important for me to mention another critical component of our housing solution that we're discussing. We're at advanced stage at enacting what we call the Lagos Monthly Tenancy Agreement. And what do we mean by this? The Lagos Monthly Tenancy Scheme is a scheme where we're trying to develop with some of our financial institutions to be able to have a pool of funds where beneficiaries that are current tenants that are living in houses, in flats, but who have challenged to pay a yearly rent. You will be able to approach this scheme, and this scheme will be able to help you pay your 1 year rent for your landlord and ensure that you don't come cap in hand to borrow. And we'll now look at your own monthly salary, your monthly income, and you will now be repayment on a monthly basis based on that scheme. Your landlord will be happy because he has met his own scheme. You will also be happy. You don't need to run to an uncle, to an aunt for you to make your yearly rent. Once you sign on this scheme, once we check your ability, to be able to be part of it, and your ability will be looked at. What is your current salary being earned? And we'll expect that your rent should not be more than 33.1/3% of your monthly, so that we still want you to take money home and feed your family. Once it's within that bracket, we'll pool resources together with our financial organizations, with our financial houses, and we will put a seed fund there, right? And you will now be able to pay into that scheme on a monthly basis. Whilst your landlord will be happy with you because we've been able to meet your obligation, and you will realize that your peace will come back to you, because each time your rent is due, you don't need to run blood pressure. So you can see that it's a win-win for the landlord. It's also a win-win for the tenant. Another scheme or another area which I need to talk about, which people should not misconstrue, is what I said at our last La Serrera stakeholder engagement, where we said, and I made the promise that we will start the process of identifying excision in some land that are community land. And the process is that there will be a committee that will be setting up that will go around communities. And the process of excision is that not only will the community bring names and list of people that are community leaders, we will need to identify the ones that are theirs, and government will now decide what amount, what percentage we will need to excise with you. This, we believe, will curb permanently issues around land grabbers, issues around omonile, and issues around people falling victim of not having proper title on the land that they are buying from various communities. Right? We'll keep saying to you that if you need to buy a land, go and do your search. Be sure that the land is free and it has proper excision. But we realize that lands that are village owned, that are community owned, have been exhausted. So we need to sit and look at equity, fairness, and just, and we'll give back so that it will be a win-win situation. The community will have the right, based on the excision and the title they have, to be able to give proper title to the ones that they want to give to other people that wants to be part of this. This, we believe, will clean up and will erase issues around people falling prey and falling victim, of undocumented land. Also, it's important for me to assure you that we're finalizing our EGIS, where we will have survey, we will have land title, CFOs, electronic ones at the tip of a button. We're almost there. We're doing a recce survey that will ensure that all survey maps are properly, tagged in Lagos, and you can collect your CFO or your proper title, or you can actually do a search within a few minutes, so in the comfort of your home. Sometimes, if you also need to come to Alausa, it will be available for you. I think another thing that we need to talk about when we do houses like this is the economic benefit of it. There are several artisans that will realize that we need to continue to train, when we build houses like this. There are electricians, there are bricklayers, there are plumbers, and they are tilers. And so working with the Ministry of Wealth Creation, working with the Ministry of Housing, and working with the Ministry of Poverty Alleviation, we are designing a scheme where we can continue to train and retrain unskilled laborers. We do not want our jobs to be taken away by other nationals. Let our own children, let our own boys and girls, let our own youth be the ones that will have the full benefit of government interventions like this. So in the coming year, when we call on you, that what skills would you want? Please, let's get our wards and our children that are interested to get signed on so that they can indeed have their own skills. They can know and they can be well trained at being able to deliver when we have housing estates like this. And so it's my singular honor and rare privilege that the 774 housing estates, Sangotedo housing scheme, is being handed over to our citizens. It's being passed on to would-be residents for you to take care of it, for you to know that these are public assets that have been entrusted in you. It has become a community living for you, and we believe that the generosity and the effort of government will be well taken care of. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be your governor at this very critical time, and thank you once again.